Well, the European public is now grappling with a new security reality as violent attacks across the continent become more and more frequent. CNN terrorism analyst Paul Cruikshank joins us now from Washington. Paul, as Phil mentioned, one of the attackers did try to go to Syria and was turned back at the border in Turkey. You have to wonder why France let him back in.
Well, I mean, he was deported and then went to jail, it appears, for some time, and then had an ankle bracelet for some time. So very much somebody on the radar screen of French security services. But overall in France, they're looking at about 11,000 Islamic extremists in the country, people that they're concerned about, which is an astronomical figure. 2,000 of those are believed to have links to networks recruiting for jihad in Syria and Iraq, which again is a very, very high figure. So they just don't have the resources to monitor all these people all the time. In fact, they only have the resources to monitor a very small fraction. So unfortunately, this really is going to be the new normal moving forward in France. I think we can expect a further series of attempted attacks, plots in the country in the coming months. It really is a very severe security situation right now. And there's been recent intelligence that European agencies have obtained of ISIS really pushing the accelerate button when it comes to them directly reaching out to supporters in Europe over social media, over encrypted messaging apps, to encourage them to launch attacks. Over the past few weeks, there has really been an acceleration in this from the ISIS point of view. As they lose territory in Syria, Iraq and Libya, they want to change the conversation. They want to project an image of strength, and they want to be seen to be retaliating.
Paul, this is obviously a new type of target, a church in Europe. Could this radicalise people on both sides of the spectrum? People who've said, we've had enough. Could this fuel the right-wing sentiment?
Well, that's exactly why they've chosen this target. They want to fuel the right-wing sentiment, ISIS. That's a crucial part of their strategy to create a far-right backlash in France, in Europe, in the West against Muslims, and therefore, in their own words, to eliminate what they call a grey zone and to then encourage Muslims who will be put off by this backlash to become more supportive of ISIS, even to join ISIS. That is their long-term strategy here, to sow religious discord in Europe. In their French language magazine, they've called for attacks on churches in France. There was a very serious plot in April 2015, ISIS-directed plot to attack a church in Paris. They managed to thwart that after the attacker, an Algerian student in Paris, accidentally shot himself in the foot. He was about to go and launch that attack, but they managed to find him because they found a trail of blood, and he actually called 911 in France, and so that attack was thwarted. So this is a very conscious strategy by ISIS. We'll have to see what the connections are in this case, but the fact that one of these individuals was connected, we understand, as Christian Amanpour has been told, to a French ISIS operative who's been very active in Syria, certainly may point towards that direction. They were filming this attack. Clearly, they wanted to get this out for propaganda purposes because they want to sow this massive anger in the population in France. And we've seen that. We've seen this rise in attacks against Muslims in the country. In 2015, there were more than 400 anti-Muslim attacks and threats, and that was a 200% increase on the year before. Those attacks only surging now. And so the strategy here for ISIS is to create a far-right backlash across Europe, across the West, and to gain more support because of that.
Well, we'll see how that all plays out. Paul Cruikshank, great to have you with us. Thank you.